Is sober dating a good thing? Let's get into it. I'm Daphney and I own a company called Fern Connections. I sometimes get, some requests for clients or potential clients who are sober and they want to date people who are sober, or maybe they are okay with dating someone who's not sober. But then the other thing is that, are other people interested in dating people who are sober? So let's talk about it, right? So, there's this app out there, for sober dating. I don't know that it's a bad thing. I don't know if it's a good thing. I'm not really sure. Let me just say that. And then, of course, there's these sites out there for people who are interested in dating other sober people or people going through recovery. So I want to talk about that really quickly because it's one of those things where people come to me and there's like a mixed bag, honey. Let me just tell you. Some people say, I'm sober, I'm good with dating. People who are sober or not sober, I can be around alcohol, but I'm not into it, or I'm not into drugs, or, whatever that is, right? But I can be around people who maybe smoke a little bit, but I can't do a lot of the other stuff. And then there are those people who are like, I don't want to date anyone who's sober, who doesn't drink, because I drink. I drink socially. That's part of, who I am and what I do, for entertainment and recreation. So there's like this mixed conversation around this. But let me just say this, because as a matchmaker, and I'm always working with different people all the time, and I'm always trying to be open about, matching people. So the thing for me, about whether or not you want to date someone who's sober or not, or whether or not you're sober and you're working through recovery, my thing is this, is to make sure that you're ready, right? Make sure you're ready to date when you're going through recovery. And I don't know that it's a good idea to actually date while you're in the initial stages of recovery, right? I think that maybe you should give it some time, and only you know what that looks like for you. But like everything else, we always need to have this healing time that we can recover from some stuff, make sure we're good, right? Make sure we have a plan in place, a mitigation plan in place, a coping plan in place. So that way, if something happens, we already have something established and we don't have to start panicking about it, right? Because some people, and I'll tell y'all, they will say, I'm good with dating someone who's sober, right? Until stuff starts to happen. And then they're not good with it anymore, right? So, that's the thing. And then the other thing is that people who are sober, sometimes like everybody else, we think we're ready. And then as things start to come up, they start to bubble up, you realize you're not that ready. And so that's why I say have a plan in place, right? So if something comes up, you can work through it. Now, one of the things that I would be careful about if you're dating someone who's sober or someone who's not sober is not being a codependent, right? Don't be so dependent on someone else to get you through recovery or to help you to stay sober or whatever that is. And don't try to be that person for someone else. Don't try to save them, because the only people we can possibly save, honey, is ourselves. So don't try to be that person where you're trying to save the other person, making sure they go to appointments, make sure they do what they're supposed to do. It's not going to work long term, right? It's just too much pressure for both people, because then it puts a strain on the relationship, because here you are trying to keep up with this other person and and possibly annoying them, right? And here they are, dealing with this, challenge that they have no matter what, right? So I would say, codependence is not a good thing, and trying to save someone, to get them to where they want to be or where they need to be. It really is not anyone else's responsibility. It really is the person's responsibility. The other thing I would say is, if you want to date someone who's going through recovery, who's working on their sobriety, is that don't put yourself in harm's way, right? Don't hurt yourself trying to help someone else, right? If you see that things are getting out of hand, right? And as much as you may love this person and want to be with this person, and they're a great person, sometimes you have to remove yourself. You have to make sure that you're good first. Like that whole thing about on the airplane, put on your mask first. It's true. As much as we love people, we want to help them, sometimes we gotta, make sure we're good, and we gotta make sure that we're out of harm's way. And, while they continue to go through what they need to go through. The other thing that I would like to say is that it's okay if someone doesn't want to date you because you're sober or you're going through, recovery or whatever that looks like for you. It really is okay. Not everybody is for everybody. And the thing that I like about when people say, this is not going to work for me, I can't date someone who's, sober, is that they're being honest with themselves, because we all know our limitations and we all know the things that, make us tick, right? And so to me, if someone is not wanting to date you because you're sober or you're going through recovery, good for you and good for them, right? Because at least you know that up front and you're not having to figure that out later or getting hurt by someone changing their mind about whether or not they thought they could do it or couldn't do it, honey. No, it's a good thing that when people are being honest and upfront, so don't get upset just because people don't want to date you. And let me just say that I think personally that if you're doing what's right for you, then do what's right for you, first. And if that means that you have to not date someone, or that means that you have to wait to date, do what's right for you. Take care of you. And if being sober is what taking care of you looks like today, then do that, right? Because, people will always be out there and you can always find someone to date. You can always, I believe personally that, you'll find your person, right? And so take care of you and realize, and let me just recap really quickly. Let me say this again, that if someone doesn't want to date you because you're sober or you're going through recovery, that is a blessing in disguise. Trust and believe. And it's okay, for you to just let them walk away. You don't need no explanation, honey. Just let it go, because it's just not meant to be. And let me also say, that if you're going through sobriety, if you're trying to get yourself better and you're in the initial stages of that, dating may not be the best thing for you, right? It's focus on you, focus on, getting better for yourself. And then if you find someone that's good, stay away from people who are trying to help you and save you and all the things. And sometimes when you're trying to date people that are also going through sobriety and recovery, that happens where the two of you, have these common bonds, but those common bonds don't necessarily mean that you need to be together in a relationship. So let me just say this, that I think it's a good thing when people want to help themselves, when they want to be healthy, when they want to take care of themselves, when they feel like, what, I'm better than this, I need more than this, I want more than this. So for me, if you are going through sobriety, go through sobriety.